What is going on, my broskiis? My name is Toadskii, back again here to bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video, and today we have some brand new stuff to talk about, which is going to be the brand new batch. Halloween characters are making their debut, which is actually kind of massive because, you know, obviously, you know, the Halloween characters are all are characters that people don't care about too much, I must admit, but it's not the fact that the Halloween characters are coming. Like, yeah, that's fine, whatever. What this does mean, though, is that it's all but confirmed at this point that the anniversary Sugo Fest for 2021 One Piece Treasure Cruise Global is going to be Luffy and Sanji, Sweet Commanders, and also Germa 66. It's all but confirmed at this point because we were expecting them to come out next, like at the end of January, but the fact that these characters are here now all but confirms that, yeah, Luffy and Sanji are going to be our anniversary Sugo Fest. But obviously, nothing is 100% confirmed yet. We'll have to wait and see. Now, we have been waiting for this data download for a long time. You know, we got the leaks, you know, a little bit earlier, and I've just been waiting, sitting here waiting. I actually got halfway through recording a video on the database, and then halfway through the video, I was tagged saying, you know, the download's here, so scrap that video. We're back recording another video now, so let's go ahead and start talking about it. Now, actually, it says that the metal exchange is updated as well. I will have to go ahead and check that. I wonder what characters are going to be available because this is going to be interesting. I wonder if anything is going to be updated or if it's like we have to wait until the announcement to see exactly what's going to be available. Okay, no, this is all the same. Okay, so I thought it was going to be a bit different, but no, it hasn't updated yet. That's fine. By the way, this is going to be coming out on the 28th. You can see there right there, the 28th of January, 1900 PST time. That is exactly when you can expect this to drop. But of course, two brand new Sugo Fest exclusives are arriving. We have Mihawk and we have my boy Trafalgar Law. Now, in this video today, we're going to be talking about the new characters, and I'll be making a separate video talking about the structure of the Sugo Fest. I haven't looked at it yet, so it's going to be interesting to see how it all gets structured out, but I hope it's a good Sugo Fest. So let's go ahead and get into it. Let's start talking about all these brand new characters and discuss whether or not they're actually good or not, right? Because obviously you can have a really god tier Sugo Fest, but if the characters that are there are not good, there's not really much worth in pulling, right? So we'll wait for this data download to come, and then we'll talk about the characters. So the first character we're going to be talking about is the Rare Recruit Buggy. Rare Recruit Buggy is an int, I think he's a shooter. Yeah, he is a shooter. He's an int-driven shooter. Captain effect is pretty bad. We're not going to talk about that, but he has a special ability on a 12-turn cooldown. Changes block, recovery, tandem, and bomb into matching. It's pretty good. And he gives you 2 turns of locking your crew slots. Okay, that's very uncommon. That doesn't happen too much anymore. Most slot locks are like for 1 turn. 2 turn is very uncommon. And then he also reduces special bind by 5 and defense up by 5. Wow, okay, that's actually a very, very good special. And yeah, he does resist special bind by 5 turns. I like it a lot. Makes his own size slots beneficial. Okay, he has Enrage and he has Barrier Penetration. Okay, that's also pretty good. Support effect is damage reduction and stats, nothing crazy. So that's it. I mean, that's pretty much it for Buggy. He's good. He has a fantastic special, Ore Block, Ore Manipulation, and great utility. Rumble effects. Let's have a look at what he does in PvP. 2 enemies for 100% chance to special bind them for 19 seconds, and then targets all enemies for level 5 attack down for 24. Obviously, Roger and Odin are so prevalent in the meta right now on Pirate Rumble, and I think both of them avoid special bind, so I don't know how common you would really use this guy. What's his passive? For the first 40 seconds, int characters get level 3 defense. Why would you use this character when Rare Recruit NL exists? He's like so much better in almost every facet. It's ridiculous. Yeah, okay, so there's Buggy. In regular content, he is amazing. In Pirate Rumble, not so much. You may want to avoid that one. Alright, the next Rare Recruit is going to be Boa Hancock. Boa, obviously being a generic Rare Recruit, is an int cerebral shooter. Captain effect doesn't matter. Special ability, 13 turns, reduces bind by 5, reduces threshold and resilience by 5, and makes crew strength dex quick slots matching for 3 turns. Okay. Couple things. I think removing resilience with the special now is pretty much redundant because there are so many ways you can get around it. Legend Kaido, Coliseum Kid. I mean, like, there's so many damaging specials now, like, you know, Zoroark or Treasure Map NL, right? And then you've also got like Poisoners. You've got switch effects of like Sakazuki Isho. You've got Smoothie Oven. There are so many different ways to get rid of resilience aside from a resilience removing special. It's such a redundant effect nowadays. I really dislike specials that go out of their way to remove resilience because it's just you typically don't need it. I mean, for this content that's coming up, you probably will need it, but outside of like the current release, you probably don't need an effect to remove resilience a lot of the time. And the fact that it treats strength dex and quick beneficial for 3 turns, that's also not very great in my opinion. That doesn't seem very useful. It should just be all type slots should be matching, in my opinion. That would have been a lot better, at least. Yeah, not really a big fan of that special. She will go ahead and make everyone's int slots beneficial. That's actually pretty good. So with her special, all slots are matching except for Psi Recovery Tandem. Okay. And also stat boost. She's got pinch healing though, which is quite nice, and barrier penetration as well, which is cool. Again, damage reduction and stats. So let's have a look at her Pirate Rumble effects. Her special in Pirate Rumble is going to target enemies in a small range for double damage, or double times her attack, and then targets team for level 5 attack up, 32 CT. That's a really high CT for her special, honestly. I'm not a big fan of that either. If that CT was like 20, this character would probably see play, honestly. That's actually really good if that was the case. What's her passive, though? Int characters get critical percent up level 3. When you hit a crit 3 times, you get level 1 defense, level 1 attack. Nah, there's better characters for crit compared to this character. Just not that useful. I mean, this boa is very disappointing. Her special's underwhelming. She's not good in Rumble. Not really much going on here. I mean, obviously, she's going to be nice for upcoming events, but outside of that, I'm not that excited for this unit. So Legend Sugar is actually going to be available in this banner as well. But let's talk about Mihawk first before we talk about Trafalgar Law. So Mihawk is an int cerebral slasher, I believe he was. Yeah, he's a slasher cerebral, right? Got to get it in the right order. And he is a super type character. Both of the brand new Sugo Fest exclusives are super types. So let's go ahead and break him down. Mihawk's Captain effect will reduce all cooldowns by 1 at the start of the fight. Already really good. Boost in character's attack by 4 times and 1.3 health. And then boost your attack by 5 times until you land a non-perfect strike. And then also reduces paralysis by 10 turns. So already there's lots of things about this Captain effect I like. Minus cooldown, I love. 30% HP boost, I love. The 10 turns of paralysis reduction, I absolutely adore. The thing that is a little shaky is the way that his multipliers work, because the way that this character is structured, it's very similar to version 1 Doflamingo. Such an old character in the game now, and I'm talking about before his 6+. Now, the way that he would work is that you would get the high boost all the time, so you're always getting a 5 times multiplier, but as soon as you hit a good, a great, or a miss, it goes down to a 4 times multiplier. So you have to consistently hit your perfects to maintain your 5 times multiplier. That's the big draw to this character, or the drawback, I should say, to this character. Everything else, I love, though. I think they've done a really good job with it. It's just such a shame that you have to hit your perfects to get your higher boost. But of course, on burst turns, that's not going to be a problem because you're going to be hitting your perfects anyway. The only thing that wouldn't be a problem is if there is like a good or a great barrier. But remember, barrier penetration is a thing which this character has and all the batch characters have. Makes a lot of sense, right? So Captain effect, I actually think it's really good. Now, as a captain, he has access to super type. There's lots of things going on in terms of what you need. So you can bring any one of the following. You've got Zoro, you've got Crocodile, Dofi, Kuma, Moria, Hancock, Jinbei, Blackbeard, Law, Buggy, and Weevil. So it's essentially Zoro plus any of the former or current warlords. It's what it looks like. Now, what happens when you use it? You change all slots into matching, just generic full board or manipulation, which is fantastic, by the way. He doesn't get rid of block orbs, though, so that's a little bit of a downside. Then he adds 100 times his attack as tap timing bonus damage for 1 turn, and then obviously your int characters have become super int. That's actually really good. So that means that when you use his super type special, Mihawk himself, when you do his attack, will deal an additional 2 million damage, just generic off the cuff. That's really good, but you do have to remember that normal attacks only does negate additional tap timing bonus damage, so that is a little bit of a downside there. But honestly, that's a good super type special. Orb manipulation and essentially just 2 million damage for free. It's pretty good. But if you are running double Mihawk, you can't use both in the same turn because it is a buff that will be applied, so you can't like stack both of them on the same turn. You can use one on one turn, then one on the other turn. That can actually happen. But yeah, it's actually pretty good. I like the super type special. Now, his special 13 turn cooldown. Now, this is with expansion, by the way. I think it's 14 generically, but it's going to go ahead and reduce one enemy's HP by 15%, and it will go ahead and reduce all enemies' damage reduction by 10 turns, which is Rainbow Shield. Reduce 10 turns of Rainbow Shield, which is fantastic, and then also boost int character's attack by 2.25 for 1 turn, and if you land 3 perfects, you get a 2.5 boost in the following turn. Okay, couple things about this. I don't like these types of specials that much anymore, where you have to hit perfects to get your boost in the following turn, because characters are so strong these days that it actually is quite difficult to hit all of your required perfects to get the boosts in the following stage. And I think this may also be one of those characters that may have that same issue. I mean, V2 Zora had that same issue as well, because when you launch his special, he did like so much AoE damage that, you know, against regular mobs, you wouldn't be able to hit your perfects because you kill them with the special activation. At least this time around, he's a health cutter, but he only targets one enemy. So I don't know how good or bad that's going to be, but everything else about it, I like. Like, I like that he is an attack booster, and I like the added piece of utility. Honestly speaking, I would have loved it is if they just removed the health cut and add like 10 turn reduction of like another debuff, like increased defense, or, you know, make it like just cut out the health cut and then make it 7 turn reduction of like blue shield, rainbow shield, threshold. That would have been absolutely godly. But either way, it's actually still a good special. Either way you look at it, it's a great special. Now, his crewmate effects, base stats by int by 75, and 5 times his attack for tap timing bonus, or already looking pretty good. So let's have a look at his support. Only attaches to Zoro, but it goes ahead and states that once per quest, if the supporter character uses a damage dealing or percent damage special, reduces all enemies' rainbow shield by 3 turns. This is actually really good, actually, because, you know, V3 Zoro is about to arrive on Japan, which we don't have the information for him yet. But if he does a damage dealing or health cutting special, which I would assume he would at this point, this is going to be a god tier support for that. I like it. I think this is a character that you may definitely want to be using your support medals if you do get him, because that's a fantastic support effect. So that's the character in a wrap. He's a strong unit, dude. He's really, really, really strong. But let's have a look at Pirate Rumble. Let's see what he does. So in Pirate Rumble, dude, look at that sprite. That is a godly looking sprite right there. Oh my god. His Rumble special, 45 CT. That's quite significant. But it targets himself for level 5 attack for 10 seconds, so he gets really strong. Targets enemies in a large range frontal for 3 times his attack. Oh my. So essentially, if you're able to power him up, and when you launch his special, he is going to pretty much kill a lot of characters. So long as his attack, if he gets to like a level 20 attack at least, this guy's going to be hitting ridiculously hard. 3 times attack is no joke. I wonder how this guy's going to play around with the current meta with Roger and Odin. Because remember, this guy's also a slasher, works well on the team. Dofi you can run on the side for extra defense. You could run Kizaru still. I like it, man. This guy's pretty interesting. Let's have a look at his passive. When you hit a critical up to 4 times, all enemies defense down level 2. Oh, damn, that's insane. Yo, hold up. Because remember, these effects are permanent. Like, this does not last for like a certain amount of time. Every time you hit a crit, up to 4 times, reduce their defense by level 2. So you can get up to level 8 defense down on the enemy just with hitting crits with this guy. And then obviously with his special, oh my god, if you plan that correctly, this guy's a beast. This guy is a monster in Pirate Rumble, but you got to look at things. We do have Roger and Odin. This guy is one of those characters that takes a little bit of time to get going. You have to consistently let him attack, hit some crits, reduce their defense, buff his attack, but then when he launches that special, it's game over. Like, it's just game over when he launches the special, and he's been able to hit a couple of crits to reduce defense. I mean, Roger as well on the team, you launch his special to reduce defense as well? I like it. This guy has major potential. I know on JP, a lot of people really rate this character, but of course, this character does take a lot of time to get going. So I don't know with the current meta with Roger and Odin how good or bad this character is going to be, but on paper, looks pretty good. Very promising. So that's the new Mihawk. Let's talk about the other one though. We've got one more Sugo Fest exclusive to talk about, which is Trafalgar Law. Again, this is a character that when he came out, a lot of people were kind of like, they were basically wondering how good is this character actually going to be. And he actually turned out to be pretty surprising because he's built in such a way where you don't typically use him like you would any other Sugo Fest exclusive. And you guys will understand why once we get to what his captain effect does. So Trafalgar Law is a int cerebral slasher. His captain effect is going to boost int character's attack by 4.25 and 1.4 health, so a lot of health. And then boost their attack by a further amount for every perfect strike that you hit. So every time you hit a perfect, you get a slightly higher attack boost, and if you hit all your perfects, your last character's on a 5 times boost. Pretty straightforward. And then he'll also state, damages all enemies for 100 times the damage received from the enemy at the end of the turn. We'll get back to that in a minute. And it also reduces despair by 10 turns. So I love that. I love the utility in the captain effect. I've always loved those types of abilities. So you got Mihawk, who reduces paralysis. This guy reduces despair. Now the other effect that was mentioned there, damages all enemies for 100 times of the damage received from the enemy at the end of the turn. So that, I mean, it is what it is, right? So however much damage you take from the enemy, multiplied by 100, and it gets dealt back as damage. Now, of course, one thing to note as well, normal attacks only does hinder this damage from activating, but outside of that, this is a pretty cool effect. But there are still a couple of other things you do have to note. Every time you take damage, it reflects damage back. And it reflects it back at a pretty high multiplier, which means that stalling is going to be difficult with this character if you do use him as a captain. But you can cheese a lot of content by letting the enemy just damage you, and then you can reflect it back, and it's just GG at that point. It's pretty awesome. I like the way this character is structured. It's just interesting. It's different. I like it. I like that they took a risk with this unit. Now, of course, also a super type unit. Let's break that down. Again, you need certain characters. So you got Luffy, Mihawk, Crocodile, Dofi, Kuma, Moria, Hancock, Jinbei, Blackbeard, Buggy, Weevil. Pretty much the same sort of list, except you can have Luffy on it, which is pretty cool. Now, his super type special is pretty straightforward as well. Heals 50%, sorry, of his max HP, and you get super int characters. So that's all he does. He just heals half of his health. So remember, this being a super type special, it does not proc enemy interrupts. So if there is an enemy that reacts to your healing, you can use this and it will still work, which is pretty cool. But, of course, what this means is you're able to take a lot of damage, reflect it back, use his super type special, heal back up, take more damage, so you can understand how this is working, right? It's pretty cool. Let's talk about his special, though. 13 turn cooldown. I believe it'll be a little bit higher. I think it's 14, because I think he might get cooldown with his expansion. But Trafalgar Law with his special, boost int characters' slot effects by 2.25 for 1 turn, and then after 1 turn, boost their slot effects by 2.5 times. That's pretty cool. And then also, cannot be KO'd for 1 turn. Yes, you cannot die for 1 turn when you launch his special. So you can understand how he's built, right? You launch his special, you take a massive hit from the enemy, and you cannot die, and then you reflect back all the damage, and then, you know, if you move on to another stage, use both of the super type specials, you're back at full HP. It's pretty cool. I like it, man. It's so unique. Now, the thing about it is yeah, he is an orb booster. 2.25 for the first turn, and then he has the effect where it has, like, the clock. Once the clock expires, it's going to be a 2.5 orb boost. The thing about it is, though, is that this character has no way to manipulate orbs, whereas Mihawk was an orb manipulator, but he was an attack booster instead. I think it would have made a lot more sense if you switched the roles around, if this guy was the attack booster, and, like, make sure he still has to hit perfects, and then have Mihawk be the orb booster. That would have been a little bit better, in my opinion. I would have preferred that, but of course, I think they kind of understood that and want you to use both of them on the same team, which does make sense. I understand it, but I don't like it. I really wish this was the attack booster and Mihawk was the orb booster. It just makes a lot more sense, but it is what it is. There's nothing we could do about it. So, yeah, understandably, this guy is a really interesting unit, right? Let's talk about his crewmate effects. Boost int character's base attack by 150 when you're below 10%. That is interesting. I didn't know he had that. And it does make sense. Obviously, you take a hit, you don't die, you get additional attack. It's pretty cool. And then when he has another crewmate ability, makes his own Psi, Recovery, and Tandem slots have matching slot effects. So when you have Boa Hancock as a sub and use this character, you have a full board of matching slots guaranteed for this unit, which is cool. Now, let's have a look at the support effect. Only attaches to int. Once per quest, if the supported character uses a damage dealing or a % damage dealing special, boost in character slot. What the heck? Wow, dude. Whoo, that is a good support effect. Attaches to any int character as well. But they have to do a damage dealing or a % damage dealing special. But then you get a 1.75 orb boost for free. That's awesome. That is really, really good, man. Wow, what a support effect. I love it. So that's Trafalgar Law, right? He does have Slot Bind as well. I mean, everyone has Slot Bind these days. Recovery Bind, Barrier Penetration, you know, all the good stuff. Let's talk about his Pirate Rumble, right? He is a debuffer, so let's have a look and see what he does. 25 CT. Targets all enemies for 100% chance of Special Bind for 8 seconds. Wow. All enemies are Special Binded. Right, okay. Targets enemies in a medium horizontal range for 1.5 times his attack. Okay. Trying to digest that, right? So, it's good. But you got to remember that there are quite a lot of characters that can just resist Special Bind, namely Goldie Roger, which is one of the most popular characters in Rumble right now. So again, I don't know how popular this guy is going to be. What does his passive do? His passive, int characters get level 8 speed and all enemies defense down level 1. It's good. I think Mihawk is far superior in every way compared to Law in Pirate Rumble. Not saying this guy's bad, I just think Mihawk is, like, far and away a better unit. And I really love the sprite of this Law. God damn, he looks good. God damn, he looks good. Okay, there you go. Okay, well, that's Trafalgar Law for you guys. That's the breakdown of the whole new batch. Are you guys excited for it? I'm actually kind of pumped for it. I think these characters are pretty awesome. I don't know which one I want to go for. I think I might go for Mihawk. Initially, I was like, you know, I want to go for Law because he's so unique. But after reading and kind of digesting what they do, I do think Mihawk might be a better choice. Not saying Law is a bad unit, because Law is a good unit. But I don't know, man. I don't know which one I like more. Damn. I don't know, and there is no free multi here either, because a lot of the recent batches have debuted with a free multi, and we didn't get it. So we didn't get one this time around, so I don't know what's up with that. But anyways, that's the breakdown of all the new batch. I'll be having another upload very, very soon, where I'll talk about the actual Sugafest structure and deciding whether or not it is worth pulling. And of course, that'll be coming very, very soon, so stay tuned to the channel for that. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video today, and if you guys did enjoy it, make sure you go ahead and hit the like button. And if you want to stay up to date with all the content that I post, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, make sure you hit the subscribe button down below. But on that, guys, I'll see you guys within the next video.